The most common word I used this past week on Instagram and Snapchat was the word systems. I kept saying systems. You got to have systems. You got to have protocols. And people said, Pat, I don't know what you mean by systems. So let me explain to you what system I'm talking about. By the way, I'm not talking about systems by great organizations. For instance, the biggest organizations are all system driven. Amazon, Google, Walmart. Personality is gone. It's all a system driven organization. Sports teams. If you look at Bill Belichick, New England, system. If you look at San Antonio Spurs, system. If you look at Phil Jackson, systems. Nick Saban, Alabama, system. They trust systems more than they trust their players and the people, because systems don't have emotions. People do. If you drive it based on systems, when somebody is down or up or whatever, the system is going to be, effective no matter what the times are. Let me go into it even a little bit deeper on what I mean by this. So for instance, what is your system when all of a sudden you feel down and you feel depressed? What's your system? How do you snap out of it? What is your system when you're having anxiety? What is your system when you're feeling lazy? What is your system when it's the middle of the day, 1 o'clock, you just got back from lunch and you have no energy and you feel tired? What is your system? Because some people say, well, my system is when I feel down, I go have a cup of coffee and I come back and I snap out of it. I don't know if that's the most effective system, but fine, because everyone does have systems. What is your system when you're down? Here's a system. Let me simplify. Whenever I'm down, I go and ask myself, what am I thinking about? Well, the event I'm thinking about happened 6 years ago. I don't control that. I'm not thinking about that anymore. Snap out of it. Come back to the present. I'm not down. I forgot about it. I move on. In my mind, why am I feeling so anxious right now? Well, because I'm worried about an event that's going to take place 8 months from now. That what if we don't come through? And that gets me to be anxious. And because I'm anxious, I'm not getting results. No, snap out of it. Come back to the present. That's a system in here that no one sees. It's purely being done here because we don't think out loud. We think inside and people just see us and we come back in place. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Why am I feeling so down? So instead of coming back to the office and just sitting down, come back to the office, go take a 10-minute walk. You digest the food you were having. You feel better. You're energized. You get back to work rather than just sitting down slouching and you waste 2 hours that you just lost. What do I do when all of a sudden I'm feeling lazy? I've been very lazy. Well, it's because your life is boring. Okay, because my life is boring. What am I bored about? My relationship, my wife and I, we've been bored lately. Maybe we got to mix it up. Maybe we got to change it up. What's going on over here? We just had a problem that came up with the company. And what is our system? I panic. I overreact. I start crying. What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, everybody gets panicked. We don't get anything done. Oh my God, I got to change that. Again, do you see where I'm going with this? Because when I see parents who have raised great kids, parenting is a very difficult thing to do. When I see parents who have raised great kids, I'll always ask them, what systems did you apply to your kids when you were raising them? And it's amazing that the parents who raise great kids, they know what I mean by that word. And they'll say, oh, interesting, you ask about systems. Very rarely do people ask us about systems. Let me tell you what we use with our kids. We typically do pa, 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 pa. Very cool. Hey, what do you do with your marriage? I know you've been married for 52 years. What system did you and your wife have in place? It's a great question you ask. Here's what we did. Anytime we fought, we did this. Anytime we did this. They're sharing with you the systems because systems are transferable. Look, there's a reason why you follow Valuetainment. I'm assuming you follow Valuetainment for this one reason. I'm assuming. Let me explain to you. There's a lot of channels on YouTube you can go to that you get motivated and somebody shares their charisma or their charm with you and their personality with you and you get fired up and then you walk away, but you kind of don't know what to do next. See, the reason why you keep coming back to Valuetainment is because I'm sharing my systems with you. And systems are transferable. So you take my systems that have worked for me, that I got over the years from learning from somebody else, or I read a book, or I tested it and I made a mistake and I finally said, this is how this works. And you apply them and it gets you results and you're getting better and better and better with the money you're making or the life you're living because you're applying these systems. So here's my challenge to you. Grab a paper and pen. Grab a paper and pen and make a list of all your systems in every aspect of your life. Health, business, finance, personal life, relationships, spiritual. Write down your systems that you have in place. And when you look at those systems, ask yourself, is this the most effective system when a problem arises in a relationship? And if it isn't, start looking for other people's systems that are effective. Ask them specific question. What system do you use in this area to help your relationship be better? What system do you use in the middle of the day when it's 1 o'clock and you don't have any energy? What system do you use? Ask specific questions backed up by wanting to get a step-by-step system that a person uses, and you apply that, you get results. So once you make your list, I want you to send me a tweet at Patrick Bet David, the most effective system that you have in place, at Patrick Bet David. You'll see the handle down there. Tell me your best system that you had in place. And then after that, moving forward, start asking people what their systems are that works for them in those specific areas and start applying them. That is my challenge of the week to you. And if you got any questions, thoughts, comment below. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the #1 channel on YouTube for entrepreneurs, click on the subscribe button and join the notification squad, that little alert button right next to it. Take care, everybody. Have a killer week. Bye-bye.